The NSE 20 share index was above 4,000 marks the previous day, and then it dipped below 4,000 again. What's happening?
I'd like to correct you on that.
Yes.
The NSE actually made a mistake on that. They sent out a correction at about 9 p.m. on the same day. The NSE actually performed 39.58. It was actually up yesterday at to 39.61. So it didn't actually drop from the previous day. It actually ascended.
It actually picked up.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Thank you for the correction.
No
but that said, what's happening? What's driving the index right now?
Right now, it's foreign investors are the ones who are driving the index. They accounted for about 87% of total equity turnover. They are the ones who are pushing the blue chip companies to new highs. We just saw Equity Bank at 23 shillings. It was driven by foreign investors. EABL as well. KCB traded over 5 million shares. It was all driven by foreign investors. Local investors are not being as active as they should be, but the index right now is being driven by foreign investors.
And one of those foreign investors, mainstay over the last few weeks has been EABL. This doesn't appear to be waning off. How come?
EABL, they are just been, okay, according to them, EABL, the industry that EABL is operating in is very, very promising. It has the potential to become huge. And foreign investors have been pumping in a lot of money. Like yesterday, they pumped in about 760 million. And they have been investing a lot in EABL because of the future outlook of the company compared to other regions in the world and Africa as well.
And we're also really waiting to see what the first half of year results will be like, considering we have now Devlin Hensworth as the new CEO, having taken over from that.
Yes, definitely. You've seen them switch from their mainstay brands at Tusker. Now they're concentrating on the spirit sector.
Yes.
And they want it to be on a 50-50 ratio with the beer segment. And spirits have actually been picked up really well. We saw in the past full year results that Johnny Walker is doing really well. They are supplying it in small quantities, which is more affordable to majority of Kenyans. Yeah.
Let's talk about Equity Bank, because it's still of interest. We talked about it yesterday, but the management changes at Equity Bank are very interesting or very telling. Julius Kipngetich, who's been a long-time board member of the Equity Bank board since 2004, he was a non-executive director, and then he leaves his CEO's job to become Chief Operating Officer at Equity Bank. From where I sit, it looks like he's being groomed to be CEO.
Yeah, I'd concur with you. On that note, because it took all of us off guard.
Yes.
Yeah, no one saw it coming. When we got the news, we were all in shock. We were like, wow, what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
And then we all in agreement that probably is being groomed to be CEO of Equity Bank in the next few years.
And that would be an interesting one, because his turnaround story at KWS was outstanding.
Yeah,
though
exactly.
He's not been in banking before, at least not any that we know, but who knows, he's just probably a good manager, which is what Equity might need after James Mwangi.
Yeah, definitely. I'll bring all this wealth of experience that I took from KWS to Equity Bank and probably grow it to one of the biggest banks in the region.
Crown Paints, up 8.57% yesterday to 38 shillings. I thought that was interesting. I don't know where you sit from in the market.
Not really. With Crown Paints, if you look at the number of shares traded on that day, it was just 100 shares, just one trade. 100 shares just pushed up the price to 38 shillings. So to me, it's just a one-off trade. It's just something out of the blue. It's just there's no fundamental news that will push it to 38 shillings.
But there's certainly some fundamental news about KCB, which is that Martin Odoro Otieno is retiring in April 2013. He's chosen not to renew his contract. We've not talked about this with you. What do you make of this news and the search for a new CEO, which is now on?
First of all, I'd like to congratulate KCB for the awards they picked up last night.
Right.
For best quoted company, best counter in the NSE 20 share.
That's the Capital Markets Authority Awards.
Yes, the Capital Markets Authority Awards. The news that Martin Odoro Otieno, that he doesn't want to renew his contract, it will have an effect on the counter, but I'm sure KCB have plans, just like National Bank had plans to replace the CEO. I'm sure they are looking at it as a global recruitment process, not just limiting it to Kenya or Africa. So I'm sure they'll attract massive potential candidates, and who will bring who will take KCB even to further heights from where Martin has left it.
Everybody would want to be CEO of KCB. Are we applying? Are you applying?
I wish I could. I wish I had that experience.
No, I'm just kidding. Listen, let's talk about the shilling right now. Still remaining stable because the central bank is supporting it as it is. It's very much on the support bed of the central bank. What are you thinking about the currency?
Yeah, the shilling will keep on facing a lot of pressure from banks and demand for the greenback, for the foreign currencies. The shilling keep on facing a lot of pressure, but the CBK has enough ammunition for the short term to support the shilling to 84, maximum 85 levels.
How much does the shilling pay attention to political noises? Because right now, they're calling it the season of defections. The election regulations have become very strict so that members of parliament who want to change their parties must do so within a certain time before the election in March 2013. And therefore, the political temperatures are at fever pitch right now. Does the shilling pay attention to any of this?
Interestingly enough, the shilling and the market,
yes,
the NSE market, have been very resilient against the political news that has been filtering through. If you look historically, any political news hit the market on a negative basis, but this time around, it's been very resilient against such news, and
right,
it's very it gives out a big boost of confidence.
The tangent to this, and which I'm trying to connect, is that we've almost hit a home stretch in the war in Somalia, and that has been definitely a concern back home and for investors, and indeed because of the perceived risk available here and those likely, I don't know if there were grenade attacks or what kind of terrorist attacks that might have been carried out on Kenyan soil. The Kenyan Defense Forces have hit the port town of Kismayo, which is the headquarters of the Al-Shabaab, and therefore it seems, for the part right now anyway, the Al-Shabaab have been neutralized. Does this get us any brownie points back home?
Yes, it does, and we continually get support from the US, other Western nations on this front, and we'll see a lot of their investors actually investing in Kenya because that piracy risk, the risk that was posed by Al-Shabaab, has been somehow neutralized at the moment.
There is, though, still the likelihood and the risk. I'm not trying to be a pessimist here, but they have warned time and again that Kenyans, sometimes they say that the blood of Kenyans will sweep the Indian Ocean. That is obviously being overly dramatic. But those kind of risks, when investors hear stuff like that and the security situation of the country, they tend to be afraid, right, especially about FDI.
Yeah, I do agree with your sentiment. I do agree that that risk still applies. That's why, and we do thank KDF for the job that they've done, and the fact that they're still in Somalia keeping pace is a bigger boost of confidence rather than the risk that we face.